to start picking and say, let's wash, let's recycle, let's do all this. No, the same product just gets sorted and moves into another production line as input as much as possible. So that is what circular economy is talking about. And I just want us to get it very clearly, you know. So circular economy, that's the theory of production, also in graphics, so that we'll see the linear. The next graph, I think I have a graph here. This graph explains to us the linear product design and use, and the circular economy product design and use. But let's move gradually. So we're going to go back a little bit. So circular economy, the theory of production and consumption, how you need to go about it. The circular economy is a model of production and consumption, which involves sharing. So those are another level again, sharing, leasing. If you take sharing and leasing, it comes under your theory of production. Before you produce, what do you need to do? You know, we mentioned that minimal resources as much as possible. For example, do you need to, as basic as you have in an office, you have 4 groups of friends or 3 groups of friends. Do you need to have separate offices and buy separate generators? Or can you just co-locate, resource sharing, and have a 4-bedroom apartment as an office? The center comes as your reception. You have 1 single generator and it's serving everybody. Or what do you want to do? Your production, let's say you are into agriculture, cassava production, you want to do your gari. Do you want to build your own factory? You guys want to come into the center point and say, let's have a centralized or a hub system. The language hub these days, you know, speaks a bit better into that language, into that model. You have a hub-like production system where everybody come and lease in terms of maybe per hour or whatever it is, and everybody produce and still move forward. You just need to have an SOP around how it involves your sharing. You can share instead of own. You can lease instead of own, and reusing, repairing, refurbishing, and recycling existing materials. You know, it is not recycling from landfill, recycling existing materials and products as long as possible. A level of what you're going to term waste after use at stage 1 becomes input in another stage 2. When you finish stage 2, what is supposed to come as waste again comes into use, stage 3, stage 4, for as long as the life of that product or that material in question can be extended. That is what circular economy is telling us. So in this way, the life cycle of products is extended for as long as possible. You keep using. So in practice, it implies avoiding and reducing waste to a minimum. So when you look at this graph, or these graphics, you see the landfill is at your extreme right, painted in red, and it wants to avoid it as much as possible. So instead of sources, then produce, sell, that is where consumption comes in, use, consumption coming. It doesn't end up in landfill. It moves over again. If it needs to be repaired and reused again, if it needs to be reused, then resell and move on again. Refurbish, back into production line, and you continue. Recycle, back into production line, and you continue. So let's see what the next graph talks about. So now we talk about the CE terms of production now. My scope is to make us see the circular economy in terms of production and circular economy in terms of consumption. Circularity is a simple concept. It means that a product is created with its own end of life taken into account before a product is produced. You must have thought through the process and thought through what comes out of this produce. What is going to happen to what is going to term waste. This is the core of circular economy. It is not for you to not to care about what comes into the end of life of your product, but what comes after your product is consumed from the package or the materials or whatever. that's not circular economy. Circular economy means even you that you're producing, you must take into account what comes as the end product of this product and what can it serve another input for instead of going into landfill. That is circular economy. I hope this is as clear as possible.
Yes, sir.
So if you want to produce, you must have into account or take into account what becomes the end product of your materials or your product in time. You must have that into account. So in a circular economy, once the user is finished with the product, it goes back into the supply chain instead of landfill. You can't continue okay. The motto of the circularity movement in a nutshell, it's telling you waste not and want no waste. So once you have that into your mind, you know that, oh, anything I'm doing, I should not waste. At the same time, alcohol waste that's supposed to end up in landfill should be input into another production line or reuse or recycle as much as possible. You're going to see some of these examples. It is important to design the product and its process as a closed system in which the waste produced is equivalent to the quantity of resources used, and the waste generated will be converted into raw material and it re-enters manufacturing line once more. As a result, circular economy becomes circular. The word circular, things just continue to move round cycle without, if we come here, let me take us back by about 2 slides. Okay, we can actually move forward. If you look at this slide, after use, it should not come into the landfill. It moves again in cycle. So that is what that aspect is talking about. So as a result, economy becomes circular. Industrial products and materials can be reused repeatedly and redistributed in their original shape or with minor improvements or modifications to new customers. An economic industrial system based on the reuse, that's our principle of products. It enhances remanufacturing. It will improve the natural potential of the environment to restore itself because it doesn't even end up in landfills. So the environment itself is healing, is curing as fast as possible. And this was put together by BASTEN 2013 EMF 2013 conference. So now let's see everything we've been explaining in graph. The linear production, I've talked about them before, but in practical, you could see how does things, we can from the audience about it in circular economy and linear production system. Anybody, please, any product.
You mean we pick a particular product that you have to analyze?
Hello?
Or? Yes, I'm here. You mean we should pick a particular product that you have to analyze?
Poultry birds.
I can't hear from my end.
Cassava.
One, which we're still going to see, is from the road, like PET bottles. We buy drinks. We buy soda drinks a lot. So this fits into this example as much as possible. So imagine you have the source, the produce, that is, let's say it's Coca-Cola, it's 7-Up, it's Biggie. We're not product sensitive here. We're just talking about produce so that nobody would think we're demarketing any product. So they sell, you go to ShopRite or you buy in traffic, you drink, that's you consume, and what do? You discard. Do we know that in countries like Norway and a few other nations now, you don't even discard. You don't let them get into landfill. What do? Number one, the repair, the reuse syndrome is like you could turn some of these things into your water bottle for your refrigerator. Do we think about that at all? You can turn them to your smoothie container. In your house, you make a smoothie. This is few things I had done. Unfortunately, I don't practice that much here in Nigeria. But while I'm abroad, what do? All these PET bottles that we use in the house, the soft drink bottles, they call it soda, even the water bottle, what do I do with them? Each time I go to the store and I get a lot of fruits, I process them into smoothie and I start dispensing into this container one by one. And I make it a point of duty that, first thing in the morning when I wake up, I just grab a bottle. It's just as if I'm reproducing my own healthy drink in the refrigerator. I just grab one, I use. Once I finish using, I return, wash. That's like repair and reuse again. As I said, we should come up with an example and you see, and it continues like so. Even as a consumer, you become so aware of how you need to move products in cycle rather than just say, I finished using this product, then I drop it off and it ends up in landfill. That is not circular economy. So in circular economy, the product design and use keep moving. Maybe we can grab that word, it keeps moving in cycle. It doesn't go straight and end up in landfill. So it keep moving and keep moving and keep moving for as long as you can use that product. So what are the concepts of circular economy? So let's see the concept that there are 4. 2 talks about production, while I've categorized the other 2 under consumption. So we're going to see the 4. The circular economy is a systems solution framework that tackles global challenges like climate change, biodiversity loss, waste, and pollution. We must transform every element of our make waste system. How do you take? How do you make the waste system? How is it going? We should know that if everybody start practicing from individual to corporate organization to manufacturers themselves, there will be less and less and less waste that will be generated. And once you have less waste, what happens? Pollution reduces. Health will improve. Flooding is going to reduce. Environmental degradation will reduce. And lots of things that we can't even think about. In fact, economy will improve. You waste money less because you're practicing circular economy. Your health will improve because you're practicing circular economy. So let's look at the 4. So what are the 4 circular economic concepts? How we manage resources at the beginning, before you produce. How do you manage it? As basic as, you have a production line. Do you need to have a large storage and you keep all your products in your storage? Or from where you're sourcing your product from, can you just have a simple MOU? Because this is a masterclass. So I'm going into the real nitty-gritty of what you need to know and what you need to do. Your produce, your raw material, do you need to just keep it with someone else that is selling and you say, let's have an MOU. 1 week to each time I need this product, I'm going to get across to you and you ship it down to me or you send it down to me and you have an MOU. His own or her own major task is to sell raw materials. You reduce your own resources, human capital, you reduce your storage, you reduce your waste, you reduce so many things in that storage. And you just know, for my efficient production line, what I need, materials that I need for the next 1 week or for the next 1 month is in storage. I'll give you an example of this. In banking sector, at some point, when you go to branches and you see them having big diesel storage tanks, this is part of the project I had done even before the real circular economy. We're just still thinking about sustainability and how to reduce carbon footprint and some other things. Why do you need large storage for your diesel within the branch offices? And you see a bank having storage. All you need is have a relationship with a major oil marketer. Is it a Total? Is it, let's take Ibadan. I always want, while we're thinking global, let's act local. You have your gas tab, you have your Bovas of this world, you have SAO, then you have the multinationals too, your Total, your Mobil, you have all of them here. Why don't you just have an MOU with one or two of them and say, oh, every week you give me X supply of fuel along my production line or my branches or what have you. So instead of you having another 33,000 or 30,000 or 10,000 liters of fuel storage within your premises, why not just have 2,000? Why not just have 1,000? Am I making sense? Hello, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Good one, sir.
Yes, we are making sense.
So
Yes,
how we
sir.
manage resources. You are not doing anything fake. You are not cutting corners. You're just managing your resource usage to the best minimal level. So let's fast forward. Imagine 10,000 liter storage tank in your facility. You know, in life, you say what will go wrong will go wrong. No matter what you do, no matter how you prevent things, there is a spill. So imagine you're spilling 33,000 liters of fuel within your environment, or 10,000 liters of fuel within your environment. Look at the environmental impact compared to you only have 1,000 liter storage in your facility, and there is a spill. So which one costs you more? Which one affects the environment more? So, and that is all what circular economy is talking about. Even before you do it, during your design stage, your initialization stage, conceptualization stage, you should think through what are the ways that can come out of this, what I can do to the society with your product. So you have to be as responsible as possible right from the word go, even before you start producing, before you start manufacturing. The concept 2 talks about how we make the products best minimal possible. Let me give an example. In tech world, there's something you call follow the sun, making your products. Follow the sun technology means for a global organization that has, for example, your production arm or your data center located across the globe. Organizations like Google and Meta, which is Facebook, they've been doing this for like a few years now. So, and what does follow the sun mean? They've realized that they consume more energy during the day. So more energy means more waste, more pollution. For example, if by the kind of energy you're going to use in your house at 2 p.m., when the sun is brightest and hot, the weather is hot, is not the same energy you're going to use in your house at midnight. It's not the same energy you're going to use in your house in the morning. In the morning, you could just be okay with a simple light and a fan, and you're fine. At midnight, during this rainy season, maybe you just open your window for good air to come in, or just your fan. But what happens at 2 p.m., at 1 p.m.? So what does follow the sun do? Follow the sun now means, since I just break that down so that you're going to understand the theory of your energy consumption. So they now realize that, since you consume less energy, especially cooling at night, because I'm deep in energy management, I can also tell you that if you look at your organization, your home, anywhere, any production line, 50% of that energy is cooling. So if they now consider that, oh, so if cooling takes so much, that's more money, more pollution, more everything. Why don't I shift my production to where they are in the night and not where they are during the day? And that is why they say follow the sun principle or concept. So while you are in Nigeria here and you're using your Google, at that time that Nigeria is in daytime, Google is using a data center that is in midnight for you. When that section comes into daytime and there is sun over there, they switch to another one. All they need to just do at the back end is just connectivity. I can't remember vividly now. There is a particular IT company that have built their data center under the sea because they realize that the place is just extremely cold. So how you make your product, it comes into play in circular economy. So now let's see the consumption. How we use the product. Do you just use the product after consumption, you trash? Do you see additional benefit in that product? Oh, refrigerator. Is that what you're doing? Bottle away. And item 4 says what we do with the materials afterward. At times when you look at my truck, you think you are it's a garbage vehicle because number one, I avoid throwing anything out of my vehicle. Everything, I dump them inside the vehicle and to recycle as much as possible. Now, let me tell you, this is a surprising personal experience because I was telling my family to say, oh, even when the refrigerator is filled up, freezer is filled up, still this plastic, don't throw them away. We used it, we know it is clean. And the funny thing, they started gathering them for me and gathering them under the staircase in the living room. Then it gets to a point, I said, look, you know what? This thing is going to be generating mosquito under this staircase. Can you move them into the garage? And they moved them into the garage. Now, let me tell you the funny story. But I've not trashed them because I believe they've not reached end of life. So while it is more, the thing is accumulating also in my garage. Unfortunately, one day, each time I travel to the farm, one of my farms, there is oil to groundnut oil, rice, gari, and the likes of them. And one day we were talking, and this woman said the major challenge she has is PET bottles that she oil to people. I said, oh, you've just seen an input supplier in that direction. And before you know it, I was, what looks like waste in my house that I refuse to call waste. I started packing them in their hundreds in my vehicle. Clean. They are not trashed. So you don't use further energy again to dissipate. When you pick all these PET bottles in refuse sites, it could constitute health hazard. I can tell you that some of these PET bottles, when some people use them as consumer, how did they use the product? They finish using the product, they pour chemical inside. And nobody enforces you here to say, oh, once you pour chemical in such a PET bottle, can you label it toxic? Can you put a label on it and call it toxic? Or as simple as possible, write acid on it. Everybody understand that, oh, you should not use this thing again. So at times when I look at all these people selling kunu, in the open market, you realize that is why making food poisoning. It will come from some of these sources. But imagine you let the energy, you conserve the energy of that product. You didn't throw it away. You kept it in a good condition, and it goes as input into another production phase. That is. Notes 1 and 2 talks about production, while 3 and 4 talks about consumption. So even you as a consumer that you're not producing, how are you consuming products? When you finish the product, I've tried to rub these off my people, and as many people I could come across. Let's talk about it. It's not because you know that
Hello, sir. Your mic is off.
hello.
Yes, sir. Well,
Yeah, I realized that I went off network, that the network went off.
yes, just for some minutes.
Okay. Do I need to reshare again, or we still have the slides?
You might have to reshare, sir. The slide is off.
Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, welcome back. Are we together?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Because about my example, when we get there, I will explain, but look at the far right side of my head on your own screen. It's going to be like the left. That is circular economy in practice. Things you're supposed to consider waste, it turns to a beautiful office design. We didn't go to pick them in landfill. It's just from various homes. We assemble them in the office and we turn it into a good design. In the center, you have something like a silver. That is a CD, an old CD that is turned into the center of the design. But let's move on. So globally, let's look at few companies that are fully practicing circular economy. At the same time, I said we'll think global and we're going to act local. Sorry, I'm trying to move this stuff again. So in a circular economy, waste is designed out of product manufacturing and material. So in your design, you design out waste as if this product is not going to go into landfill ever. So from your designing stage, you design, your product not to end up in waste, manufacturing, and materials are kept in use. Brands are embracing the circular economy in some intensive ways, helping consumers, because even if you are the producer, you're thinking, you must also help consumers too. You must also, like what I've explained about how do you use these PET bottles in your house and all those things. That's speaking to the consumer level. That's at the consumer state, because the manufacturer could manufacture well and says, oh, like the Sweden that I mentioned, your product, you don't even need to take the waste into a waste bin, or you say you're sorting or something. Just bring it straight to a collection center. They weigh it immediately and they give you credit. Immediately. So I think I'm reoccurring, but it's fine if everybody is hearing me. So I said helping consumers rethink how they consume goods. So few of the global companies are IKEA, Adidas, Burger King, and our own Tamela Food and Tea are one or some of the first circular economy examples. So I'll take us through the practical example you're going to see. And the first line, I look at agriculture. The first line will talk about the straight line, the linear means, or what we are used to. Then the ones that have level 1 and 2, you will see the various levels there. So if we take agriculture, for example, cassava production, then you process. What happened to the waste after processing? Landfill, or it end up in drainages. This
Sound loss. I can't hear from my.
Wait.
Yeah, apologies everyone. It seems Mr. Femi is currently experiencing some network issues from his end, but I'm sure he's going to be back online shortly.
Listen, the network is
The network is totally down. I think we should.
Yeah. So looking at it now, okay, Mr. Olafemi is back, and I know he's going to come offline shortly. I just want to quickly address one or two things before he comes up again. I know some of us are already asking as regards the update, the form which was sent on Monday. We are going to address that before we end today's session. But I just need to be sure that we have and everybody on the platform. I think Mr. Olafemi is back. Hello, sir.
Or could you just share the materials? Well, maybe we'll follow up from the materials since the time is fast running out.
Yeah, no problem. I actually thought it was your network. I didn't know that it is my network. So what I quickly do is to switch the internet. Well, almost rounding up. How many more minutes do I have?
No, we still have like 10 minutes to wrap up
Okay.
the session.
So let's just look through the examples, and it's going to get very clear to everybody. So, for example, we're talking about the cassava processing, and we look at the linear stage, the linear production type. Now, in circular economy, what does that mean? You have your cassava production, you have it processed, be it your gari, your starch, or what have you. But what happens to the waste? What you call waste? It becomes That's cassava peels. It becomes animal feed. And I will mention that IITA has done extensive work on this particular product line. They even came far in their research to discover that when it comes to, let's say, broiler, aside cattle or ruminant animals, broiler birds, that the main feed, production of feed of broilers, it's more of grain, maize, and that this cassava peel can replace 50% of your maize. How beautiful would that be if everybody embraced this circular economy at that stage? Then look at level 2. The other waste, the so-called fluid, the water, again, can easily be turned into biogas. I've been to facilities that is using this. It's their waste they are converting to generate energy. It is in this Oyo state, this Ibadan, outskirts of Ibadan, circular economy. Let's look at food and tea. We play so much here. Your tea production before you consume, everything goes into waste bin. What's our level 1? The tea itself. Because we even focus on the kind of tea we produce, they are more of herbal tea, health beneficials, e.g. scent leaf and ginger, lemongrass and ginger, bitter leaf, soursop. So what do people do? Or what do we tell our people, our consumer? These products, when you think you finish drinking tea, you just started. And the funny part is that most of the people in diaspora, they are practicing this more. People in US and UK. What do? The tea bags, take it back into your refrigeration system and preserve. Anytime you are ready to make soup, these are your, what do women call these things? Spices. They form spices that you need. That's to our female. So imagine you drink a bitter leaf tea, or you finish drinking a scent leaf tea, and you don't throw your tea bags away, you refrigerate your tea bags. And when you're making your soup, your ogbono, in fact, it's a customer that told us that for her, she used it for her ogbono. She just bust either the scent leaf or the bitter leaf and turn the leaves into her soup making. And for the guys, what do some of them do? They just take it back into a bottle, be it PET bottle or glass bottle, and pour in alcohol there. And they turn it to herbal drink. Traditionally, when you drink your tea, you finish drinking tea and you throw it away. Circular economy, no. The tea you think you had finished drinking is forming inputs into some other processes. Now the tea bags, because circular economy told you that right from conception, you must think and think and think even before you produce. We were in between paper packaging or nylon packaging, polythene. The polythene packaging looks attractive. For us, we felt, oh, this is not a common thing in Nigeria. People will know testing with people, seek people's opinion. They'll prefer pouch, but that pouch will serve as inputs to packaging of other items in their various forms. E.g., you've been to the market, you bought your dried pepper. What do you do with them? Where do you store them? They say they just pour it back into this refill, because the design is that the pouch is resealable. So once it is resealable, what do? They keep using and using and using. You've been to the market, you bought ginger. What happens to your dry ginger? What do? Put it back in this pouch, seal it. Let's move on. Because these are practical things you see, both at the production level and at the consumer level. Beverage company, we've talked about this over and over and over. And I've been to a manufacturing plant in Nigeria here. One is in Ibadan here as well, that ensures the collection of these things as much as possible to go into crate production and other plastic production. But how good will it be if, for example, into that facility and they take it as input into another production line. Automobile, this is so real that, you know, it took the automobile market of US by storm when the likes of Hyundai and Kia re-engineered their vehicle. Less fuel consumption, less waste, less everything, lighter vehicle, still safe. Your airbags are there. Your suspension is still strong. Everything is as good as the other ones. But what happened? The other ones consume more fuel, more materials were used in their manufacturing. So, and how did Kia and Hyundai took their market by storm? They gave, you know, traditionally in automobile, everybody gives 3 years manufacturer's warranty. Whether they say 3 years or 100,000, whatever, kilometer, which one comes first? No, 30,000? I think 30,000 kilometer. Which one comes first? Because it's average of 10,000 kilometer per year. What did they do? They gave 10 years warranty and 100,000 mileage. Which one comes first? Please, why won't you switch from GM and Ford into the Hyundai and Kia? And that also makes them to start rethinking how they manufacture. Oh, if you want to still do bogus vehicle, yes, you can do bogus vehicle, but also do what is less material intensity in terms of consumption of fuel. These are classical examples for us as a master class for us to see. So what are the benefits? We all know both in the production side and the consumption. It regenerates natural systems. In a circular economy, product is produced regeneratively. It combats climate change. You play your part, I play my part, everybody play their part. Before you know it, we've reversed the negative trend of climate change. It can improve access to innovations and innovative production of goods and services. It keeps you thinking, how better can I do this? How best can I do this? You know, how good? You move from good to better and best, and you keep improving, you keep improving. That's innovation. It can support local communities and create more jobs. Yes. At the same time, it saves money and it creates value. We've seen this. I just put this there for us to see in a bogus graphic. So you can look through it at your convenience. I can also equally share this slide with the anchor of the program if it's required. And this is the complex design. Farming, if it's about farming, if it's about biogas, anything, just look through it. If you sit with these graphs, you can see everything as it goes on circular economy. Then I put a few references of part of where I consulted and put materials together. And I say thank you for allowing me taking us through this session on circular economic production and consumption.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rafemi.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate support.
Yeah. So before we kindly mute your mic.
Yes, so I think maybe that's thing to say to see different.
Okay, thank you very much. And before we move on, we would like to entertain some questions and some questions from participants. Though we have some people just joining from YouTube, and we also have some of the participants on Zoom here. Kindly, you can signify, or if you don't want to use your mic, you can type it using the chat button. Or those of us on YouTube, you can type your question on the comment section while we attend to each and every of the questions before Mr. Oluwafemi leaves. The attendance link will be shared shortly. Just hold on. I know many of us are really after that attendance link and all. Yeah, it will be shared. But it's important.
Okay. Can I have a paper?
The knowledge. Yes,
while the question is coming in, let me show an example of what we're talking about so that it won't be like, oh, they preach different things, they say different things. No, paper tea, the pack. So this is an example of a bitter leaf tea as compared to paper, the carton that everybody is quite familiar with. that I mentioned. So why did we narrow down this? Number one, it is resealable. Before the consumer buys it, it is tamper-proof. If you want to open, you can't open because it is sealed at the top. It is tamper-proof. Now, when you cut this off, then it is still resealable. And these are the tea bags we're talking about. We think global, we act local. So you finish drinking this tea, what do? You don't throw the tea bags away. Can I have one tea bag, please? Just one. So you don't throw your tea away. No, the one that is packed. Ending up in your trash can. What does this do? It ends up in your refrigerator. You bust this open and you pour this into your soup and it becomes your spice. Regeneration, reuse, extension of product life. So that's just a practical example for us to see. And again, they told us, they said, oh, because it is resealable, this thing keeps the fragrance, because they are also herbal. It keeps them fresh and keeps the fragrance inside. We don't lose it. So you're gaining, when you practice circular economy, you're gaining so many things you can't even think about. So please question, let the question rolls in. And if there's no question, I'll be happy to equally bow out. No one is raising hands.
Yes, I would like to give it to Kishiku first to ask his question while I read the questions on the comment section. So, okay, then Inolua can come up after.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir, for this informative section. You really opened our eyes and our mind to possibilities, that we've not known before or that we know, but strategies on how to implement them is really an issue. So my question is on automobiles, the generation of their metal waste. I have this friend of mine. He's a sculptor, and he uses metal to waste metals like say vehicle. He uses abandoned vehicles to make artwork, to manufacture artwork, sculptured artwork. And he has done it one, he has done it two, but how do we incorporate that thing he does in line with this circular economy, such that automobile making industries globally, we see the need of incorporating this in their circular economy when they are making their vehicles? That's my question.
So I'm aware that the respond to that, or in your question.
Okay, should I react to that or let me get more and react?
All right. All right. Let's Yulua ask Israel questions and then we can react. Yeah. Yulua, you can ask the question. Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you for the class, sir. I really appreciate. Yes, I really appreciate the lecture, sir. But my question is based on the tea bags and the previous one, which is made from paper, and that's of the recent one you are talking about, that we can we can seal and put in our refrigerator later. Sir, I want to understand what is the concept of the sustainability behind that, because I believe the paper to me, that paper can still be repaired, like can degrade in the environment. I want to know that tea plastic bag that you just showed us now, is it degradable? Because if you put if you're based on the factor that okay, people might like use it to cook. What if they don't use it to cook? What would be the impact? Like, since we are after the end life after use. So I want to know, if it's being discarded in the environment, will it degrade? Thank you, sir.
Okay, let me start from the last. Because in Tamela Food and Tea, we consider circular economy, and we look at what they do in global economy compared to what we do in Nigeria. At the low level, your question you've raised is a concern to us, and a concern we've thrown in the questionnaire when we were discussing with people and researchers that work with it. The material itself, in a straight reply, is not biodegradable, but we're working towards getting a biodegradable material in nearest future. So that's number one. But while it is not biodegradable, what do we do? So we mentioned the economy like Sweden and Norway. What we plan to do is, one, you will bring in a system of reward that when you finish consuming the content of this tea bag and you are not even using it in your house, the number of pouches you bring back or you mail back, you are entitled to XYZ funds or XYZ points. That is in our own production system right now. The third aspect, so that so imagine you buy a tea for 1,500 naira. Internally, we put a cost to it. Almost what is costing us to get it is what we're also giving back, as we're going to be giving back as bonuses. So imagine you finish consuming tea and they tell you, oh, this pouch, is that you use it in your house or you bring it back and you get 150 naira. What will people do? You know, it will be like days of coupon. You start piling it together and you bring it back to us. Or it becomes so useful in your house because the volume is not much. You're not turning like 200, 300 of it in your house in 1 month. You're just using 1 or 2 in a month. And that is going into your other system. At the same time, we're bringing a reward system to say, when you bring it back, you get this amount of money. Like what puts us on the spot for the award? We ourselves don't know. We are just doing our circular economy in our small corner. But we ensure that the entire factory production system is running on renewable energy. One, we're looking at people's health. We're looking at our production cycle. We just want to be different. Because if we burn generator within that facility, because it's the same facility we're using to produce the herbs, we plant the crops there. So what do we do? If we're not using chemical, we're not using pesticide, at the same time, we say, oh, even as little as in generator, the fumes will come out and some will settle on these herbs and it can become toxins in the system. So we want it to be as clean as possible and we move the entire production line into renewable energy. So that is how we are thinking, and that is how businesses should be thinking. And that is why we're very grateful that in our small corner, we were cited and were given a prestigious African Green Business Award. Do you understand? So now, because that also is going to answer the second question. So what manufacturers need to do, even if it is not going to be degradable, what system are you using for its reuse, for its bringing back without it getting into the landfill? That is very important for us. It should not get into landfill. And even back internally, we're still focusing on, okay, the ones that are not less more herbs, we move them into paper because paper is degradable. So we're also, that is why they said it brings a lot of innovation. If you look at the advantages. So when you do circular economy, you become innovative and you will continuously be innovative. So back to the automobile. On the automobile side, you know, when circular economy is deepened, just like what Tamela Food and Tea is saying, oh, there is a reward system and is either points or funding. At the same time, the big automobile, the giant automobile, will start looking down to say, oh, who are the other actors that are converting old vehicle into inputs for another line? For example,
yes,
I had talked to...
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sorry, I have to your attention regarding this question. We have like over 10 questions that we appreciate you attend to. So in as much as I'm trying to make it very, very brief from them, we appreciate we can have a brief review and answer to each of these questions. Like we have...
Okay, let me quickly sort the automobile, then we can bring them more. And if time doesn't permit, because I've spent well over 1 hour, if time doesn't permit, I can respond much later. But because the automobile, it's something that speaks to mind. And like, for example, there was an award system. When we won the African Green Business Award, a woman or a lady that does something similar to this equally won an award. And her center is somewhere in Monia there. In fact, our own is small. She said she was surprised when the consular ambassador from the United Kingdom, unannounced, these people don't just go out unannounced. Unannounced, they just gave a call and they came to our art gallery, because all that she does is conversion of waste into making products, artwork. She has a giant Christmas tree at her junction made from PET bottles all through, giant Christmas tree. So what is going to happen at the end is that the world will be more aware, the automobile maker themselves will be more aware, and they will integrate other actors into this system on. So like what they said is going to bring more innovative ideas. So can we please have the questions, please, the other questions?
All right, thank you very much. And I'll quickly say something to that. Just like you mentioned that that's Mrs. Jumoke. You can check her page up. That's the Waste Museum. That's the woman she mentioned, Mr. Oluwafemi mentioned. And I know definitely by God's grace, Mrs. Jumoke will be coming up in one of our master classes, hopefully next week. And I won't say much on that. And sorry, I have to inform the OAUs that sorry, the second facilitator could not make it due to some issues beyond our control, and she just has to send an email and communicate to us. We are very sorry.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you, sir. Please. Can you add volume?
Hello?
Add volume, please.
Can you hear me now?
You might need to keep shouting. I think you're using an headset.
We can hear you now.
Yes, we hear you very well.
All right, that's fine. So let me start from the question that were asked on the YouTube platform. Someone asked that most drinks come in plastic containers and most often not disposed properly. Is there any organization we can connect to that currently recycles plastic containers in Nigeria? That's the first question. I know there are organizations, but I want Mr. Oluwafemi to respond to that. We also have a question. Someone asking, what is the role of organization and manufacturer in promoting circular economy? Those are the two questions we have. Okay, then there's another question from Adamu. He said, rubber plastic has effect on women when used to drink water. So any suggestion for alternative? That's the question. Those are the questions we have from the Zoom platform, from the YouTube platform. We love you kindly respond to that, sir.
Sorry, I didn't get the second question before that of Adamu.
Okay, the second question is, what is the role of institutions, organizations, and manufacturers in promoting circular economy?
In promoting, right?
In promoting circular economy.
Okay. Okay, I want to react from the first question. Unfortunately, I didn't have permission to share. So I'm trying to see if I can quickly chart the anchor of that organization. She's right now in London. The name of this young company is called Upcyclers. I'm putting this up so that it become a challenge and an opportunity to lots of people on this training or platform today. One, there are existing recyclers everywhere. There is one in Lagos that have made so much wave. I think it's called WeCyclers. Yes. This is a woman. I was still in the banking system when she started. So, and gradually she started reaching out to people, reaching out to organizations, because, as at then, circular economy was not deepened, but she has this mindset that the waste should not get to landfill. When it gets to landfill is another level on that sustainability, recycling. However, we're saying it shouldn't even get there at all. Right from your organization, let's come and pick them. Just help us to sort. Instead of saying waste bin, don't have waste bin, because when it's waste bin, it becomes health issue, dipping hands and all these things. Just have a sorting bin or a sorting boxes. Keep them there separately for us. We'll come and take them. So why did I mention WeCyclers? WeCyclers have been aired in CNN, BBC, all over. Because this is someone, an Harvard graduate, that left the so-called white-collar job, or blue-collar, so to say, and come back to Nigeria to start a recycling business. Now, why did I mention this other person too that I mentioned? This is going to be a project you'll be seeing in Ibadan very soon. Upcyclers. Upcyclers are just a group of young ladies in their 20s. The project was initially started by their mom because she worked with the Ministry of Environment. She was posted to the Ministry of Environment, and she realized that, in the Ministry of Environment, all they talk about is sustainability, waste reduction, Ibadan is too dirty, and the likes of it. And she felt, let me play my part and also start gathering waste and recycling them for input into other manufacturers. And the daughter graduated, from a vet doctor, started picking interest in sustainability, circular economy, and the likes of them. And as I'm talking to you, we're talking about this thing just yesterday. They just won a grant, $60,000 grant to institutionalize that waste recycling in Ibadan here. They were second runner-up. The first runner-up won $100,000. Me that I'm talking, I said my head spin that $60,000 just like that. And I saw the video they make and how they went into the grant thing. The people that won 100,000, part of the target for them is that they should go beyond one country. The grant was meant to target West Africa. So you do more than one country, $100,000. Second runner-up, $60,000. You stay within your country, you stay in a city. So, like the person I mentioned, there are lots of them. Even the Ministry of Environment in Ibadan here, they've given the entire refuse collection to maybe Montana or something. I can't pick the name right now of the company they've outsourced to. And they'll also be doing all these collections. But we are not yet at the stage we should be. Where we should be is where everybody is aware. And this thing don't end up in drainages, in landfills. It just goes straight to a collection center. Then I'll go to Adamu. I will ask for this second question again. I don't know why I keep missing it. So for Adamu that says PET bottles are dangerous to health. Yes and no. Research have only shown that PET bottles kept in the sun, because it is degradable. So one way, and it is chemical compound used in making them. So what happens is that when it is in the sun and is heated up, little part of the chemical components get degraded. And that is why they said, if you keep your water inside the car for a very long time and you see things like steam on it, don't drink that water again. No research work has ever said your PET bottle in your house that you used to drink water and you refill again, it is injurious to you. No. It's just like regular plastic. They will say, oh, regular plastic, don't use them in microwave. There are microwave graded plastic. It's because of the depletion, the little chemical component using in manufacturing this thing. Under intense heat, some of them disintegrate and it can cause health hazard. But we're talking about good storage, cool, dry place. It is not injurious to your health. Keep recycling, keep using for as long as you could. So what's the second question? I think that has to do with organization or something.
Yes,
Please, can I have the second question again?
Michael Ojo. The third question is from Michael Ojo. He asked, what is the role of institutions, organizations, and manufacturers in promoting circular economy?
Okay, the role of institutions and manufacturers. For example, see, when it comes to circular economy or sustainability, the UN is just trying. There's no clear-cut mandate to say, you know, there's a global stage, there's a national stage. Everybody had gone to sign to say, oh, by 2050, there will be cuts in renewable energy usage from fossil fuel to this at a certain level. By some nations have said by 2070, they will have no automobile that will be using gasoline anymore in their economy. Some have said 20-30% reduction. Nigeria too has its own. I was shocked to see it under their document. I have that document with me on what Nigeria plans to do per year. And either we like it or not, cost of diesel will drive us to innovation, to renewable energy, either we like it or not, even if it is not going to take over the center stage, but it's going to come to a considerable level whereby you can say, oh, 20% or 30% of energy generated in Nigeria is through renewable source. From my own professional angle, I've been to facilities in US under the IEEE. For example, the SMECO, Southern Maryland Electrical Corporation. It's generating 20% of Maryland as a state, the energy usage, through renewable energy. It's a deliberate process. If you go to Colorado, Denver, Colorado, over 20% of the energy used in the airport is generated from renewable energy. These are conscious efforts. So these are what organizations are doing. Now, let's now go to local here. Because I'm also a player in energy sector, I can tell you that almost all, if you want to test this, and I'm telling you, go to any bank now. By 6 p.m., they've shut their door. If they've not shut their door, they'll be using phone lights to see if there's still light rays coming from outside because they've shut down their generator. So if circular economy is not pushing them to be very responsible, cost of diesel is pushing them to be responsible. Even the companies you don't think of that they will manage costs at their head offices now in Lagos, they shut down by 6 p.m. And now, plus COVID or no COVID, they are promoting work from home. One of the banks in Nigeria, up to this moment I'm talking to you, I was supposed to do something with them on agric. And we're talking about the proposal. And the head of the unit says, oh, sorry, when it comes to our agric desk, we're still working from home. Those are what organizations are doing. I said, why? I said they are reducing costs, reducing waste, reducing carbon footprint. Only Oga, call it sustainability, call it circular economy. We're also practicing it. So I just smiled. But we'll get to a level that the country as a whole will have an enforceable policy to say, oh, everybody, your waste reduction level must be this, consciously or unconsciously. Organization, you must stick to your depreciation policy. Because when you talk about engines, for example, generators, the older they are, the older they get, the more waste they generate. So you might come to your terms and say, oh, what is your depreciation policy? 4 years, 6 years, 7 years. So you don't just have endless waste in your system. We'll come to a system whereby electronic waste, there are going to be policies and principles on how to recycle electronic waste. Because this is another level of waste that must be taken care of. They can put mercury into our water system without us knowing. So the government and the organization, the way we've mentioned few organizations during the presentations that have been practicing circular economy. And I can tell you that it doesn't just end with the names of the organization, it also includes what they are doing as an organization, from rewards, monetary reward, to their process. Do you understand? So but like what this training is all about, as at 5 years ago, there was no training of this type. So institutions too are getting more aware. This is under University of Ibadan. So the more this is being pushed, the more we all get to be aware of it, and the more we do what is right. So everybody has to play their part. The organizations, the manufacturers, institutions, individual consumers, because this talks about production and consumption. So there is also more to us as consumers. What we would like to see more is that integration between consumer and producers, where they say, oh, the waste that my product is supposed to be or to generate, bring it to so center and get XYZ of money. You can imagine if a Coca-Cola or a Biggie come out to say, oh, when you bring 10 packs of my waste, you get 1 pack of drink. Would that thing ever get into landfill anymore? It will not. Or when you bring 10 pack by yourself, you get 5,000 naira. They will just quantify it. Even if that product is not going to be reused by them, it goes into inputs for another manufacturing company that produces carpet, that produces chair, that produces rug or some other things, or crates. So that is how it's going to be. And what that simply just says is that we all need to play our parts. I think if we have more questions, are we satisfied? Is it explanatory enough?
Yeah. You really answered those questions well defined, sir. And let me quickly go through the questions we have on Zoom. The first question is coming from Live Alegbemi. He said, how can you properly store these products to be reused effectively in such a way that it doesn't cause a nuisance to your personal life or earth-wise? Just like you mentioned about the garage. Then the second question is it possible to create a system in Nigeria where recycling and reusing products can be enforced effectively in all sectors, like other abroad countries? Then we also have a question similar to this, which is, what is the strategy for recycling already packaged products? So I will appreciate you kindly attend to that. Please, I believe we are...
Sorry, can you come up? Can you come over again? Your voice keeps modulating and demodulating. Hello?
Okay, sir. Yeah. Can you hear me very well now?
Yes, it's better now.
All right. The first question is, how can you properly store this product to be reused effectively in such a way that it doesn't cause a nuisance to your personal life or earthwise, just like you mentioned about mosquitoes and movement to the garage? Then the second is it possible to create a system in Nigeria where recycling and reusing products can be enforced effectively in all sectors like other countries? Then there is a similar question to that first question, which is, what is the strategy for recycling already packaged products?
Okay. One, we can't leave our question. I'm going from the last one. We can't leave our products open-ended. What product is the questionnaire? The person asking the question is thinking about what product, what packaged product is the person talking about? If he or she doesn't come up with one, you might just suggest a product, then we all look through it. But we can't leave it open-ended.
I think he's also raising his hand. And Mark, you can just unmute your mic and ask that question directly based on your perspective. And Mark, if you are there, please briefly do that. Or we move to other questions.
Okay. Number one, while Mark is trying to come up, let's take it from the question one, storage. How do we store so that it's not going to affect our health? And in the process of trying to practice circular economy, I've made an example of myself. We started storing from the under the staircase of this living room until when I felt, oh, this is because as at that time we have like roughly 3 full bags, 3 full sacks of PET bottles in the house. Then I felt, oh, this thing is going to start constituting nuisance here. And we move it into the garage. And from the garage, it end up as input into a reseller of oil palm and groundnut oil. That is a case study. However, that is not a big example. The big example is we should have a system. You yourself involved now should know that, oh, this is my storage capacity level. It doesn't need to come to 3. I can tell you that since that time, I don't have more than a bag at a time, because it doesn't need to get to a full bag. Once I'm traveling to the farm, I just go along with it and give the woman. And you need to come and see the prayers and everything that comes from it. So you need to know what's your storage capacity. It doesn't need to get that level of exceeding your storage capacity before you hook up with a recycler. And it's going to be exchanged for money, I can bet you. The upcycler, I've worked a little bit with them. I've seen how people even phone them to say, oh, I have this level of PET bottles I've collected. They will say, we're coming, we're bringing in our pickup to pick it from you. So what we just need, and I will take this as a take back as well, to these young innovators, they are just ladies in their 20s. I'll take it back to them that maybe they should start also thinking, since they have $60,000 grant, they should also start thinking of how to reach out more and create a collection centers, at least starting within Ibadan metropolis. So people just need to just take, even we are going to work and you just have a nylon bag of waste or a sack of waste, or you're going to school or you have lectures or you're going somewhere where you can easily drop as it is done in Sweden and Norway. And someone just scale and say, oh, today it is 20 points. It's either they create a system that records against your name or you just have your immediate gratification. So I will also take this as a take back to them, an innovative way of improving in their work. But we still have few recyclers all around where you can, if anybody thinks you want to fit into this system, you can get your phone number to Emmanuel and I can easily get it across to these people that are doing recycling in Ibadan. At least I know one of them very well. And because they are so effective and efficient in what they do, they had won a $60,000 grant. So that question 2 talks about how do we get to a stage where it is enforceable to say, oh, manufacturers and recycling, they need to link up. Your waste that you manufactured or the byproduct of what you've manufactured should not end up in landfill, because that is the target. It shouldn't end up in landfill. So how do you do collection? Is the collection for you to form into input of another product, or the collection is for someone else to form into input for another product? So I can say that as much as we have a good government in place, we will move to this enforceable level. I can tell you there is a policy like that in Lagos. But after a change in government from Fashola, so to speak, the whole thing started going down. As at that time, it is something enforceable under Lagos state law that they visit organizations to see if you have a sorting stations of your products or what you call waste. You have them sorted. It is not to end up in your trash. No, sort them. And they are integrating it with the recyclers. Recyclers is one of the people that was championing that then, and well supported by Lagos State, because I was still in a working employment then, and I knew how organizations are really trying to quickly enforce it, because it becomes an enforceable law in Lagos State. But however, because our government policies are not consistent, our governments are not consistent, and we just want to run a populist government and say, oh, let's please people because of 4 years election that is coming so that they can vote for us. But we're still going to graduate to a level whereby either you want to vote for us or not, it becomes enforceable. It's going to get to a level like you talk about children immunization. If you like, vote for me. If you like, don't vote for me. You must immunize your child. So until we get to that stage, but we're going to get there, I can assure you, once we get the heads right. It's not part of this training. Maybe that's still part of what I need to see. Everybody get your PVC. Is one of the ways to get all these things quickly upscale to the right level we want. PVC is our answer to seeing the Nigeria of our dream. I don't want us to go into politics, so please don't let us ask questions.
Yeah. I understand,
but
sir.
It is just for us to know that all these things are achievable and we're still going to get there. For example, if a government, as at that time Fashola was doing it, if the state governors or the presidency at that level says, oh, all you these beverage company manufacturers, at some point, Coke was doing it globally, that half percentage of your income for collecting this produce back after it's been consumed. Do you think they won't do it? They will do it without even increasing costs. Because what they are collecting from you, do you know, let me ask a question. Do you know that the waste of our PET bottles and products from recyclers, do we know that this product gets to Europe? Are we aware? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Do we know that we export waste in Nigeria?
Yes, sir, we do, really. You know it, sir.
And the waste is still not enough.
Yes, sir. Like here in Kano, we have Bola, and you know they're exporting it out of the country.
I'm telling you. And do you know what is working for Nigeria? Because of this good knowledge that don't let it get to landfill before it's captured and broken down as input to some other things. So what they said about, because I try to follow through, what they said in Europe especially is that the waste from Nigeria is cleaner, is better. So by the time it's getting to a manufacturing plant that needs it for another product, they do less purification on the waste. So now imagine if those waste even don't get to landfill at all. We've created another industry entirely like that. And another dollar market. We can call that waste dollar or dollar waste. And it becomes a huge money. Like I tell you, I'll give you the example of these upcyclers. The upcycler thing just started last year. Because the order was put to the Ministry of Environment. And something that starts like a child's play has become a business that has employed graduates, that has now won awards and grants.
Wow. I love this, your point, which I think is a take back and which we all have to dwell on. Don't let it get to landfill before it's captured. And it's very important for us to, even in our various home offices, we need to learn to start sorting our waste. Even the pure water nylon, sort it, paper, you can have various places. You can even create, I'm going to share some pictures and also some link, which you can see how you can do this stuff on your own. Because if at all we are going to make that change, it starts from each and every one individually. So, and this will help us. So let me quickly run 3 questions. I know that we have
after 3 questions. Can I beg to?
Yes, sir. It's fine.
Okay,
it's well
let's take it on.
Sir. So the first question is, someone mentioned that recycling, his own emphasis is on recycling and reusing of plastic.
I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, please come over it again.
Okay. He's talking about recycling and reusing of plastic bags. He said he once cultivated the attitude of going to stores or shop with his plastic bag, but the society we live today, almost all people don't see it as we do. Some might think you have diabolical intention behind what you are doing. So how can we overcome this? That's the first question which I'm reading. The second question is, sir, can biomass eliminate the need for grid electricity grid? Nigeria generates about 542.5 million tons of above selected organic waste per annum. The intern has the potential of yielding about 25.53 billion cubic metric of biogas. So, and the third question which I want to ask, I'm trying to see if there are similar questions to the ones which you've already asked. Okay. Just a minute, sir. Let me. Okay, let me ask this question. The essence, coming. Sorry, I'm just trying to see. There are some questions that are asked that are quite similar to what you spoke on. I'm trying to, though we have those two sealed, and I trust you are going to make judgment on that. So the last question, I think we are good to go. Okay, let me ask this question. He said, I want to ask the facilitator in Nigeria if Nigeria government has policy or existing law embedded on circular economy to general public or complaints, because my belief strategy on achieving sustainable environment is individual discipline, just like earlier mentioned. So, sir, please, I would love you make judgments to those questions before we end the session.
Okay, the question one, I will tell that person to continue that practice of going to stores with his own paper bag or nylon bag, so to say. Because what that simply says is that he or she is continuing the end of life of that product. And see, it is happening, but I will explain to us. The way the diesel thing is happening, that's the same way the use of that bag is going to be. I'll give two examples, personal examples. One, in some stores abroad now, there is a cost attached to you getting their nylon bag to package your goods. And they equally have a cost attached to them even using a biodegradable bag. In fact, one of my staff is just saying that Foodco has started now. Do you understand? So when I notice it abroad, and I see people, they will carry their own trolley to the supermarkets, and I'll be asking, and initially it doesn't up, Nigerians, the way we think is different from the way they think. And I'll be thinking that people, why are they bringing in their own trolley, bringing in their own paper bag? Even my dad would put paper bag in his pocket from home when we're going to stores. My mom will always have it in her own bag too. So, but later it occurred to me sometimes last year when I see that cost is attributed to it. Now let's bring it home. In Bodija here, I'll just go straight so that we'll understand this. Jumal Dry Cleaning Center. The lady came from US, or the owner came from US and set up an industrial washing area there. They charge you based on machine hour or something, or machine load. So they can put like 20 clothes in their washing machine and they charge you 2,000 naira or 1,006. Once it's of the same loading. But where am I going? Over time, and I realized that their cost increases. Then about 2 times ago, and I asked, why did your cost increase? They said, sir, they've started charging for nylon bags. I said, what? So the nylon that you eventually pack my clothes, you are charging. They said, yes. They said, even, this white thin nylon that they first put your clothes inside, that they said it has a cost too. I said, I said, don't worry. I'm a sustainable person practicing circular economy beyond sustainability. When next, I'm telling you real life story, that when next I'm going, and that was like 2 weeks ago, I went there with my traveling box to take my clothes. It is not Ijebu. I'm also just being conservative in terms of the environment. Because most of these nylon, it end up in trash can in my house, which I don't like. So and I said, so then I said, Oga, now you and one other person that came from abroad, that you they carry box come now to take your clothes. And the last time when I was taking my dirty clothes to the place, I also went in box. You think I'm traveling, but I'm going to a dry cleaning center. So by the time a dry cleaner is doing it, you also realize that some other dry cleaners will start doing it. And they said a food chain company is doing it already in Nigeria. And this thing will grow to even stores in neighborhood to say, if you want me to package this biscuit you are buying in nylon for you, add 20 naira or add 50 naira to it. Then it's that time you realize that when you are leaving your home, it is even noble and honorable for you to go with your own packaging materials. One, it saves the environment. It's not just the money. It saves the environment. It extends the use of that material. And at the same time, it saves money. So all three put in one. So the second one, that can biomass replaces grid? I will say no. Because biomass itself has its own challenges. But what I will tell you is this. There is a different industry and a different market entirely for biomass. So before you know it, if we get our acts together as a nation and we generate so much biomass, what do we do with it? We're going to export biomass. Some companies in Nigeria now uses biomass to blast furnace. So instead of using fossil fuel, what they do with the biomass is to use it to blast furnace. So, and people in agric, or people that understand agric, the shell of cashew or shell, especially shell of palm kernel, is called ekuro or something. That shell, is a total waste, but that's a classical example of a biomass, aside the one you even generate from other sources. That thing now is an exportable material straight to Asia. And if you generate your biomass yourself, some people now have a system that takes that biomass from you and turn it into what they use for their own electricity, or to blast, especially people that blast furnace. They use it in blasting their furnace. But if you think this will, the question is that can it replace grid system? I will say no. But it has its own industry, it has its own sector. Can it play some major part? Yes. If we get it right and we started, amassing it, storing it, using it very well, then it's going to support the grid system. Nigeria grid system is extremely poor. We're not even generating 10% of what we need. So imagine if you now start using biomass to generate 10%. The other renewable energy, solar is generating maybe 20 or 30%. Water is generating its own. Natural gas that we're flaring is generating its own. So before you know it, we're going to have sufficient energy that we can equally export to other West African nations. But can it replace it? No. And the last question says, Nigerian government, do they have policy on circular economy? I will say yes, because I said it the other time that I stumbled on the document before and I was equally surprised myself. But I will quickly share something just for this group. When I get that document again, I will share it. But what I want to share with us, Nigeria Economy Working Group, Nigeria Circular Economy Working Group. So they even have a working group already, and they have a policy, they have website, they have all sort of things. The only thing is that I think the communication or the publicity is a bit slow. I have seen the document myself. When I was doing my first presentation in April, I used that document a lot to work. So I will share a link with us. That I'm just sharing that now, that talks about the working group. And you will see that it is robust, not just a child's play. You see organizations that are there supporting it, from Dangote CBN, ABU Zaria, Lagos State Government, Federal Ministry of Environment, UNDP, British High Commission, and lots more. Under it, you have all these green economy, green policy, they all come under circular economy. So it is, yes, Nigeria government is thinking in that direction. But what did I also say before? Our government is a bit slow in this whole implementation. It could be because of our democracy that is still nascent, whereby everybody keeps thinking, oh, if I enforce this now, would they vote for me in 4 years' time? Would they do this? But yes, because Nigeria is part of the treaty, it's part of the signatory on circular economy. So Nigeria does, and it is working and it is ongoing, but the implementation is a bit slow, which, like what we said, is still going to improve. And like what the anchor said, everything all still depends on us. We must play our part. Hope I've done justice to these other questions too, and it is 11 a.m. Can I take a break?
Thank you so much. It's been an awesome and insightful session with you this morning, Mr. Oluwafemi, and we sincerely appreciate every bit of it. It's really insightful. I know that the knowledge being imparted this morning is going to cause some movement. Let me use the word movement, whereby we can start advocating towards achieving that circular economy practice. Yeah, and I think we can allow you to leave now. And once again, on behalf of the Sustainable Development Solution Network Nigeria, we want to say thank you for facilitating today's session, sir. And before you go, sir, please, I want to ask the participants would like to communicate with you. And yeah, because we have some of the participants that are also having their basic needs in aspect of circular economy, production and consumption. They would like to communicate with you. I don't know if it's your phone number or email address you would prefer they communicate with. Which of these I would like to request your permission before we share.
I just dropped my email. I wrote it in uppercase so that people can see it. Email is not case sensitive, but just for people to see. So it is femtouchng@gmail.com. And my phone number, it's my WhatsApp line, so to say. It's 5080 547.
It's fine, sir. It's fine, sir. In as much as you give approval to share, share it to them, sir.
Please go ahead.
All right, sir. Thank you so very much.
Have
really
a wonderful
session. And you too, sir. And you too, sir. So, dear actors, I believe it's been a wonderful time this morning. And yeah, like I mentioned, sincere apologies, Dr. Nia from Egypt. She's joining, she was meant to join from Egypt this morning, but she had an issue in which was beyond our control. We have to reschedule a session. And please, I believe each and every one of us have been able to fill the attendance and evaluation form. Please unmute your mic if you have not been able to do that. I need to have a clarification on that.
Sorry, I haven't done that.
Okay.
I haven't done that.
What exactly is the issue, sir?
Well, I had a little bit of network issues, so I guess it logged me out automatically. So try coming back, all the chat has cleared up.
Okay. That link will be will be shared again shortly. Just hold on. I want to take comments from some other people too. Is there any other person that is having challenges? Please, can you just raise your hand so that I can call on you? Is there anybody that is having issues with attendance? Or then I was discussing about the updates. So the update which we sent on Monday was purposely sent to the WhatsApp platform. So, and it's for us to scrutinize and ensure clarity on the current participants for this program. So if you've not done that, and it's through that update information, it's through the information we are going to receive, we'll be able to supply more information. I believe we all received the, there was an email sent yesterday.
No, I didn't get that. I think I wasn't online. I didn't get that.
You didn't get what?
I mean, the email, like you said yesterday, I think I've not been online for this now.
All right. Like I mentioned, check your socials or promotions, but you are going to get it. We are going to send the email again. There are some grants there in which you can apply to, and also some international conferences which you can apply, which everyone can apply to. Then we are going to give access to those who have not been able to update their information online for 20. That's going to be open. That's going to be open for 24 hours. Please kindly ensure you do that before the end of tomorrow. Please kindly ensure you do that. And when you have, I want to, okay, let me take response from John. John, you can unmute your mic and speak.
Not long ago, you've already made your question. So it was regarding updates link which was shared from Facebook.
All right, that's fine. All right, that's fine. Okay, Sunday Jeremiah, please kindly use your unmute. All right, that's fine, John. Okay. Sunday, kindly use, you can unmute your mic and speak now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, I wanted to ask a question. I have just a question, or if you wanted to make a inquiry, or I would like to. Okay, my thing is, what I wanted to say is, I recycle banners to make bags for school children who can't afford bags. So if you have any banner you want to share in Abuja, please you can contact me. Thank you.
Okay. To add to that, I will advise you share your profile, maybe where people can know more about you. You can send it to the WhatsApp platform. And if you know you have anything, and it's one of the advantages of having a wide network of people around you across the state. Yeah, if you have any service, you know that people can benefit from, not just about profit making now. I know profit making is also essential. So please share on the group, and we see to that. I believe we've all attended to the evaluation and attendance form. I believe we've all filled that. I don't think anybody's having issues. If you're having issues, please speak now and let's clarify it.
I noticed that each time I click, I still get to register afresh again. I don't know if this one does not retain, like when you registered, it does not admit you again. I don't know if this other link is different.
Once you click on that form, in as much as you are using the same email, it's going to retain the information which you filled there. Yeah, it's going to retain the information. So, but just try as much as possible to fill the form on a single stretch without you going in and out. Let me call on Lily. Lily, please unmute your mic and ask your question or inquiry. Hello, Lily, are you there? Okay, if since Lily is not up, okay, yeah, I think she's up now. All right, Lily, can you speak on? Okay. I think you've already sent a message. Let me just respond to that. To say, please, this lecture is being scheduled on work days, can really affect those working. Yeah. This has to do with commitment and adequate planning. And we are trying as much as possible not to take the whole time, whereby we can have 2 hours. And you also have to consider that each and everyone is engaged. All of us are we are all engaged. Yeah, I would say that it's not just one person. If you are not currently working, you are currently studying. So we just have to commit that time to that effect. So that's what I'm going to say about that. Ita, Please kindly unmute the mic and ask your question.
Okay, hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, my own is just a request, because I've really lost today because of network issues. I kindly request that the update and everything about today's class should be shared there, because I just got be able to got connected around this ending, because I really suffer for network.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Definitely. As soon as we end this session, we are going to share the link to the Zoom recording. Yeah, we are going to send the link to the platform, and you also have it via your email. But please, it's very important we all update our information. And I'll quickly do a little reminder. I believe we all belong to various state subgroups. If we don't have a state subgroup, before the end of next week, we'll definitely be making confirmations as regards each state to know how many participants we have across each state, in which we can give more information regarding the community development project, because the community development project it will be coming up this month, towards the end of this month. And also I know by the end of this month, we know those who are advancing to the innovation process. So please, I want to admonish each and everyone to be active. And if you have a major inquiry, please send an email. When you write information that, admin, I want you to attend to this, and when your other colleagues, I know there are some active people and other colleagues that are going to respond to that, maybe jokingly or seriously, they are giving you the right information, and I'm giving credit and kudos to those who have been doing that. But on our own part, we will be glad to receive your email, and that will help us to respond accordingly to what your need is. Yeah, okay, you said, how do we update our profile? I'm going to send the link. I'm going to share the link again. I'm going to share the link again this morning. But we have between now and tomorrow evening to do that. And if you have done that before, you don't need to bother doing that again. I mean, if you have updated your profile, that was on Monday, you don't need to do that again. I believe we have attended to all questions. My appreciation to the entire team for this program, who have been behind the scene working on how to get things done properly. And also to each and every one of us that are taking time to be part of this program, because I know in as much as you are on this program, there is an impact you are making on the society, in the society across boards. Thank you, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And once again, I wish each and everyone happy new month.
Thank you. Happy new month, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy new month.
Thank you, and happy new month to you too. Thank you.
Thank you for happy new month.
That's 29.
Okay,
No, like this one. No, not the price I'm looking for. That type of